This is the photograph Lynn Goldsmith took of Prince in 1981. It was the source for this silkscreen Andy Warhol made a few years later. Now these 9 justices will decide if Warhol's version violates Goldsmith's copyright. It's the first Supreme Court case in decades to tackle the fair use defense in the arts. What the justices decide could redefine fair use in everything.
Wait, what?
From social media posts to major works of art. In 1984, Goldsmith licensed her photo of Prince to Vanity Fair to use as a reference for artwork to accompany an article. She didn't know that the artist creating that artwork was Andy Warhol, renowned for pushing the boundaries on artistic appropriation.
Fast forward to 2016.
Breaking news about the death of an American music icon.
Prince has died at the age of 57.
Prince passes away, and Vanity Fair decides they would like to use one of those Warhol prints on the cover of their commemorative edition magazine. Lynn Goldsmith says, wait a minute, there's no license for that, and that's based off of my photo, which is a copyright-protected work.
It turns out Warhol hadn't created just one Prince image, but 15 additional works that relied on Goldsmith's photo. That's when the litigation began. At issue is a fundamental copyright law question. What qualifies as transformative for a fair use analysis? In other words,
how much free rein you want to give artists to take other people's work in the pursuit of their own.
Many people are thinking that the transformative part of the fair use law allows them to take our copywritten work and do whatever they want with it. This has got to stop.
But first, let's take a step back. Copyright gives the author or creator of a work the exclusive rights to sell and reproduce that work for a limited amount of time. That's from the Constitution, which states that Congress has the power to enact laws that promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries.
That creates an incentive for people to create things that either benefit industry and just the consumer.
Creators often build on existing art to create something new. If copyright holders have all the power, it could stifle creation rather than incentivize it. Which brings us to fair use.
Fair use steps in where copyright should not go too far. So it protects things like teaching, criticism, commentary, and many other things that would be blocked or too hard to do if copyright covered every possible way in which a copyrighted work could be used.
Rebecca Tushnet is a law professor at Harvard. She wrote an amicus brief supporting Andy Warhol's work as transformative. She says fair use is also rooted in the Constitution, in the First Amendment's right to freedom of speech. In the Copyright Act, which has been rewritten through the years, Congress specifies what is eligible for fair use. One of the factors requires judges to consider the purpose and character of the use. That has largely turned into this question: is the new work transformative? That is, does the new work transform the prior work into something with an entirely new meaning or message?
So the Supreme Court embraced the concept of transformative fair use in the 1990s in a case involving a rap song that used portions of Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman.
The rap group 2 Live Crew took this song
Pretty woman walking down the street
and made this rap version.
Here we go.
Pretty woman walking down the street.
The owner of the rights to Pretty Woman said the rap version infringed their copyright. 2 Live Crew disagreed, claiming their version was clearly a parody.
See, Roy was the conservative upper class version. Now we finna play the hood version.
Liberty City.
Liberty City version.
For Campbell, it was about more than just his song. He felt a large portion of artistic expression was at stake.
If we were to lose this case, I mean, Al Alcabez, he couldn't do what he does anymore. I mean, Saturday Night Live will be off the air, no more. All the joke shows that go on will be eliminated because everybody just be getting sued out of the woodworks.
Ultimately, the Supreme Court sided with 2 Live Crew. In a unanimous opinion, Justice David Souter wrote, "The more transformative the new work, the less will be the significance of other factors, like commercialism, that may weigh against a finding of fair use."
In that case, the court kind of defined what transformative use was. The quote is that it adds quote, new expression, meaning, or message, unquote, that's not found in the original work. So that set a precedent that affected a lot of cases down the line.
Which brings us back to Andy Warhol's prints. Did he transform Lynn Goldsmith's version into something with an entirely new meaning and message? The lower court thought so.
Lynn Goldsmith has said that what she was really trying to do with Prince was to bring out his humanity, his vulnerability, the specificness of Prince as an individual. But what Warhol is known for is actually turning the real into the mythical. That's what his particular style was very good at, was moving from individual to icon.
But the Court of Appeals saw it differently.
The Second Circuit, on the other hand, said, wait a minute, this Warhol print is, it's a copy of the photo. Artists have rights to derivatives of their work. This was not actually changed enough, and it actually faulted the district court for playing art critic by reading in a lot of different meaning to what it considered light alteration to the photo.
The opposite rulings from the two courts show why determining what is transformative is so tricky.
The decisions that a judge makes, they're supposed to be fairly objective and decisions in a matter of law, but it's kind of antithetical to copyright to do that because a lot of the meaning and transformativeness is kind of a matter of opinion.
Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes famously said that judges should not evaluate the aesthetic merits of an artwork, and courts have often endorsed that subsequently.
Once again, it's up to the Supreme Court to decide. How the court rules could have profound implications for creators.
It's really hard to know how the Supreme Court will rule in this case because, copyright attorneys and copyright experts and professors, they don't all necessarily agree. For some people, especially photographers, think that, it's not right for artists to, take a photographer's work.
In the modern world, we're constantly reusing images. Transformative use protects the ability of everyone to basically take bits and pieces of the world and the media around them and use them to shape a self. And that's something that's very natural. The law can't stop that, but it can make everyone potentially vulnerable